Hey guys, it's Shanda Sumpter here. I'm excited to be here, and here's what I want to talk about. So, there was a moment, like not too long ago, where my husband Ash was giving this homeless woman a hug. And when he gave this homeless woman a hug, she looked at him and she said, "Thank you for seeing me." And that inspired really what I think may have been the largest or the best hug line assembled in 20 minutes last night. So here's what I want to share with you. It's such a crazy story. So there was 12 people that got together last night, and they created a stretch for themselves on how to make a bigger difference in the world. And I learned so much from this stretch because it's amazing what can happen inside of 20 minutes if you put your mind to it. You enroll a group of people in a vision that's powerful, and everybody gets on board. And instead of stretching your goals and your dreams out super, super long, like 6 months, a year, what if you were to shorten it in half and just make it 20 minutes? What if you were to take your biggest dream and make it literally 30 days? My point in sharing this with you is because last night I get this text message, and Ash is asking me how I should have put in the description on Facebook. Um, Everybody write this down. Write this down on Instagram. Write this down on Facebook. Hashtag hug the number 4 humanity. I'm going to put it in Facebook right now. Hashtag hug for humanity. Did I spell that right? Humanity. Okay, so my point in sharing this with you is because it was literally through a random act of kindness that this got like born and thought about. And so Ash, my husband, went and hugged. For you guys who are just joining, he went and hugged a homeless woman. And when he hugged the homeless woman, she looked at him and said, "Thank you for seeing me." And I remember Ash coming home after that and telling me about it, and how often we probably walk through the world and we actually don't even see each other. Like, we don't even see our husbands, we don't even see our wives, we don't even see, our good friends. We just don't even see each other. We're rolling through life in such a quick way that we're just not even stopping and seeing each other. And so when he hugged this homeless woman, he was completely moved by the fact that she was thankful, not just for the hug, but that he saw her, that when Ash was together with 11 other people, and they're in this leadership program called PhD with my mentor, Michael Strassner. And in this program, last night they had to create something. And what they created was an inspiration off of that homeless woman. And in 20 minutes, take this in for a second, 20 minutes, they assembled 170 people on the beach in La Jolla, California, and everybody started to hug. I mean, they were chanting, they were hugging, they sent me videos, and I'm literally laying in bed with my son, and I'm like watching their videos and seeing their pictures, and I'm just like, holy cow. And, not only was I moved by them, but then I started thinking, like, my friend Craig Ballantyne, who wrote the book, A Perfect Day Formula, actually says in his book, if you cut your dreams in half, meaning the time frame in half, that you will actually accomplish your vision and your dreams much quicker. And so back up for a second. How would you be able to use something like this to really have an unstoppable day? Well, first and foremost, the 170 people on the beach never came from one person, right? So how many of you guys right now are actually trying to push a vision, or you're working entirely too hard in your business or even your marriage, or trying to find a man, or even trying to get pregnant without getting help? Like, how many of you guys are grinding it out by yourself? And because of doing that, you might even think you're a generous person, but honestly, you don't even have time to be generous because you're so focused on getting what you need to get in life, right? So I always say generosity is the door to freedom. Like, it's the door to freedom. And so what I learned from just witnessing them last night is like, wow, like I could do a better job at dreaming even inside my business, and a better job at even enrolling my team in this incredible vision that we have to go out of country, right? It's like a thing on the books, but it's not really divide and conquer where we're working like this crew of people were working last night. where everybody's actually working together on a daily basis to be able to inspire this out of country movement. Or the fact that we have the zone event coming up. Don't get me wrong, my clients are definitely like with us on the zone event, my company's with us on the zone event, but like, how could we be even cutting our goal, like our time goals in half and creating these extraordinary moments together around things like this? My point is that first of all, we get filled up from giving and we learn something about ourselves. We learn that we are more capable than we ever thought we were. Secondly, from the place of like pushing a mission or a movement or whatever you're doing, like stop doing it alone. Like these guys create 170 people on the beach inside of 20 minutes, or at least that's what I was told. I mean, that is extraordinary. I don't think I've ever seen a leadership group do that. Like that is fucking extraordinary, right? Like to be able to go and do something like that. Not only do you have to get out of your own way, but you have to enroll other people to be involved. You have to talk to strangers, and it's weird. It's weird, right? You know what I mean by that. Like, come on. Do you walk up to people in Target and just give them a hug, right? Like, we just don't do these things. We just don't look up and operate in these random acts of generosity. And so I'm going to ask you right now. I'm going to ask you today. I'm going to ask you right now if you've got your husband or your wife or your kid or even yourself, hug yourself, right? Hug yourself. But I'm going to ask you to join in their movement. And I was text messaging my friend Bedros Kaluni, who owns Fit Body Bootcamp last night. I was messaging Craig, and I was messaging people because I was so inspired. And this is what this is what a leader does. Imagine, not me, but yeah, that's what a leader does too. You jump on the board and you help them succeed, right? But like when you have the capacity to be that type of person all the time, people will never stop buying from you. People will never overlook you again. People will never leave your side when you start operating like those 12 people did last night. When you start being that type of person that you're not too busy to care, to help. And I'm not just talking about you being a good person and giving money when you get something in the mail for the homeless shelter because it's Christmas. I'm not just talking about when you feel like, oh, I need to go out and give, and you just do it. I'm talking about consistency. I'm talking about being that type of person all the time. Like loving your stranger, your neighbor, your friend, your coach, your sister that drives you nuts. I don't have a sister, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like, it's about being that person all the time. I talk to my clients about the fact that you always want to be on the leaderboard, right? You always want to be on the leaderboard, and not just with the bare minimum, but with a 170 person result, right? Meaning that is extraordinary, and we're all capable of it. Because when you look at the 12 people that were together last night, some were stronger than others, but as a team, they created a result that is unheard of. And so my suggestion to you, and I'm going to request this of you right now, is I'm going to request you to either go on Facebook or Instagram, which I know you're on, and today, not only yourself, like when we get off this Facebook Live, when we get off this Instagram Live, use hashtag hug4, the number 4, humanity, hug4humanity, and post on Instagram a picture of you hugging yourself, hugging someone else. Tell us the backstory. Like if you're hugging yourself, why are you hugging yourself? Like why, right? Like tell us the backstory. Create a movement out there in the world on the shoulders of the people last night. Keep that movement forward. And first of all, we will know who you are because we can all search hashtags on Instagram and we can find each other, right? And now you'll know that there's a group of generous, ambitious people who think like you, and start following each other, right? Start following each other and growing with each other, right? When you see each other doing good work in the world, start sharing it. Start tagging people that need to hear a message that somebody else has actually shared. Like go over the top, out of your way to make a difference for other people. Now, let me backtrack for a second. You know, every great leader, whether they're teaching you Instagram training, Facebook training, how to create your first product, how to sell better, they're going to teach you, if you pay attention, aspects of generosity to get what you want. And here's what I mean by this. Do you know on Instagram, there is a way to actually grow your account by literally like commenting on big influencers' pages so that they see that you've commented and liked a bunch of times. That's an act of generosity. What if you actually just showed up like that all the time? Do you not think your Instagram page would grow massively? Yes. But when it's a job and you have to do it, you have to give like that between 12 and 2 every day. You know what I'm talking about, right? Then it becomes heavy, right? Can you see that if you played together today and you played together as a team and everybody posted hug for humanity on their pages, that if you were just to practice that and then you were to go out of your way and you were to actually ask other people to play with you and do that, even if you text message 5 of your friends about this story and ask them to go do it, that as you get in the habit of being that person, and please know, there's no money attached to that hashtag, there's no anything. It was an inspiration that I'm having about being a leader and continuing to share this information and continuing to connect you guys on Instagram and Facebook so that you can follow each other, another act of generosity, and then encourage you to start commenting on each other's stuff and sharing each other's stuff and tagging people who need to hear each other's stuff so that everybody becomes more successful. But here's the deal. For it to work, you actually just have to be this person all the time. Because it doesn't work short term. It works long term. I have a great friend who did a product launch when she started her business, and she was literally living with her parents in Canada. And she did a product launch, and you know how she met her influencers that actually mailed for her? They mailed their databases, and she made 6 figures in one product launch, like one sitting. It was because she actually went out and she hired Twitter people who, when Twitter was just coming out, she hired people in, I think it was India or the Philippines or something like that. And she hired these people very inexpensively to build influencers' Twitter accounts as an act of generosity. Because of that, she ended up becoming great friends with people who then turned around and said, how can I help you? So I know we get taught these strategies, but I think sometimes we think they're a job. Sometimes we think we should give, we have to give to grow, or we should give. And then it's inconsistent and it really doesn't pop for us. What if you were to just show up and realize that the art of the door to open to complete financial freedom, to complete peace in your relationship, to complete peace in your family is actually you just being generous. Generous with your love, generous with your sponsorship, generous with your giving, generous with helping other people succeed. I was once told by a great leader, if you help enough people become successful, you will become wildly successful. So stop picking and choosing when you're generous to succeed because it's too much work. Start redirecting your thoughts in the faith of knowing that when you show up this way, that you will absolutely rock it out. So on Facebook, I'm going to invite you to share this video. I'm going to invite you to tag somebody who wants to hear this and encourage them to actually post a picture with the hashtag hugs for humanity. Let's make a difference today. I want to see you guys on Instagram. I'm going to search on Instagram this hashtag. I want to see you. I want to see you guys following each other. And on Facebook, we can actually find each other right on this thread. So you could post your pictures on the thread, like throughout today. You can use the hashtag, and then you can encourage other people to do that. So I hope this was inspiring to you. I definitely learned that I could be even more in the vision with my team. I don't know what you've learned from this, but hopefully it's not just a great idea. Hopefully it's a learning lesson, a takeaway lesson that is going to make you millions and millions and millions of dollars. All right, you guys, I hope you're doing great. I will talk to you very, very soon tomorrow morning on Coffee with Shanda, where actually I have got one of our clients, Sasha Sterling, who has had her power turned off, has had her car repossessed. we actually kicked her out of our program because she was behind on her payments with us. She has now paid up all of her payments, and believe it or not, she still made $500,000 a quarter of the way through this year. My point in sharing that with you is that she's focused on doing 1 million in 1 year, but what she's learned in the process is how to flip these opportunities of challenge to manage her mind when things are really hard. And she's learned some valuable things that are equating to her doing 1 million in 1 year. So even though it's been hard, even though every time she makes money, it's been repossessed or something's happened. I mean, I swear to God, most people would quit if they had her story. Tomorrow's Facebook Live is going to be critical for you if you want to become a stronger entrepreneur or just a stronger person. She almost lost her marriage. Her marriage is incredible now. She has beautiful kids. I mean, I could go on forever about every reason why this woman should have quit. And I am proud to say that she is back in our coaching programs and she is rocking it out. So tomorrow morning at 6 a.m., we will have Sasha Sterling on for us, for us too, and with us. And other than that, please, hashtag for humanity today. Let's be givers. All right, you guys, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.